I think this is probably one of the hardest chapters I'm going to have to do, searching for Austin Oldfield. Not actually out in the woods where I'm searching. I'm on my land. But this is the format that I feel most comfortable with in this series. Just out and about talking. This video that this kid sent me is tough. I've gone back and forth and talked to a number of different family members about whether I should air the whole thing or show the whole video. And I don't think I'm going to. These are kids, minors, and especially you, the son of Austin, the boy behind the boy in the mask. The boy in the mask is a friend of one of Austin's kids. And I just think that airing that kind of information, some pretty damning accusations, and I can't say that they're untrue. But I don't know one way or the other, but they're your story and important for you to share in your time. But I wonder if it might be better for you to wait a while to think about it. Maybe when you're older, you might feel a little bit differently, maybe not. And I've already deleted your comment, your friend's comment below under one of my other videos, because it linked back to you, and I know you didn't want me to share your identity, but that video would have linked directly back to you guys so that they could identify you from other videos. And I've noticed that you've changed your channel since then, and actually deleted the video, which I think is good. And I'm going to show you part of the video now, the other people, but I'm not going to show it in its entirety.
I'm going to be telling you about a man named Austin Oldfield. If you're that channel Rat and Cat, I have been keeping up with posts on your videos about searching for him. If you don't know who Austin Oldfield is, he disappeared on September 2015 in the Washington National Forest. He has not currently been found yet. This is a very, very serious video, so I really want you to listen. I am very close friends with his son right now. We have known each other for 6 years. His mother had a hard time keeping a custody of him, and he went from many different foster homes. He is going through really hard times right now. I just want to say, if you find Austin Oldfield, I hope you take this into consideration when you find him.
Basically, what Austin's son is saying, who hasn't seen Austin maybe ever in his memory, is that then I've had other people confirm that he was a mean drunk, mean under the influence of substances. I'm not sure about alcohol or what all his vices were, but he wouldn't be the first person to be like that. That belittles the situation. Nobody has the right to do those sorts of things. And For the viewers, what is talked about in the video is it's hard to imagine worse things than is described. So here's the scoop on the boy behind the mask, the son of Austin. He didn't know that he had siblings until he watched these videos. I don't know how you found these, but I know you were searching for your dad, and you want to know more about him, and I really don't know much more about him. I know that it was a bad situation with your mom and your dad. This is just what one of his other partners who he had kids with has said, that it was a bad situation when they went to Montana, involved in drugs, and he was afraid where that lifestyle was going to lead him, and that's why he left that area. And the things that he was involved in and your mom were involved in. So I know that's difficult. I don't know what to say about that. And I wish I had all kinds of great advice for you, but I don't. Other than, hang in there. Keep pursuing the path. Look for truth. Look to be a different person than what you grew up with, and the things that you don't like. Don't let those demons take over you, because that's what tends to happen. The sins of our fathers, the character defects of our fathers and mothers, we have a hard time breaking out of those patterns. And I know, as I've talked to you, that via the chat group, text chat group that you set up with me and your friends, that, as I've said to you before, your family, your aunt, Austin's sister, would like to know you, and I'll put a link to her Facebook page below. And I know that she said she was cut off from you by the family that was in charge of you at first, and she thought that you were in good hands, and it sounds like you're in a good home now. So I'd encourage you to keep in touch with family, reach out to those people, visit her Facebook page that she's still looking for Austin. And I know from one of my best friends' fathers is on the move a lot, like Austin was. And Austin wasn't a transient, but he did move around a lot. And sometimes the closure that we're looking for isn't necessarily found when we find the person we're looking for. But I don't think that should stop you. In doing this series, one of the main questions I've asked is, what is the value of a human being? Are they worth looking for? Which one of us is really worth looking for, or worth not looking for? And it's interesting, as a society, we don't judge people when they're out there lost or missing, and the search and rescue teams, the police departments, fire departments don't judge what a person's done right or wrong when they're trying to rescue a person. It's about saving the life. And I think to the son behind the mask, son of Austin behind the mask, I'd say that just because Austin was featured on this YouTube series, which is a small series, a small viewership in the first place, but because he's getting that attention doesn't mean that he has any greater value than you do. Your life is important too. And it's interesting when you look through time at various spiritual leaders, they placed value on humanity despite flaws. Not that we can necessarily forgive all those flaws or what's done. I don't think we can always do that as humans. And there are always consequences to our actions. And I really don't know. I guess in my search, I kind of have to put that to the side. And I'm kind of curious about what the person was like because of their motivations. And I'm just curious who they are as a person. But in my search, it kind of helps me to go through that narrative. But it's more of a technical sort of thing. And there are certain decisions that people make when they're lost that they make based on who they are. For example, if a person is right-handed, they're more likely to take a right-hand turn if they go down a wrong trail than a left-hand turn. And if a person is left-handed, they're more likely to take a left turn. Although I believe right-handed people are more likely to take a right turn than left-handed people. I may have that reversed. And British, on the other hand, somebody who drives on the left-hand side of the road but is right-handed, they're still more likely to turn one direction than the other based on what they favor, but it's more even. So I'm curious about those statistics like that, why people make decisions they do when they're lost in the woods. And that's really what my series of searches on rat and cat has been about. But as far as the story of who a person is and whether they're worth it or not, at this point in my life, I just can't pass judgment on people in that way. That is not to say that judgment shouldn't be passed on them. I do think it's interesting that here in America, I know a lot of Christians, and we're a Christian nation, and I know here in America we're a Christian nation. Most of the people are Christian, and we're really intolerant of other views and other Christians, and we automatically write off people who are on drugs or have mental health issues as worthless. That's one thing I don't like about David's 411 series, is that he tends to just write off people like that, when I think there's actually a huge section of people that go missing and that are out there because they have problems that we could help as a society through counseling, drug counseling, mental health counseling, all sorts of proven medical there are all sorts of proven treatments that could help these people, and we just ignore them. And it's interesting to live in a nation that calls themselves Christian but don't follow the words of Jesus in the Bible, who spoke so much about that and gave people so much grace. And we don't do that as a society. And honestly, we're more like the scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, than we are, I think, true followers of Christ. Although his disciples were imperfect too, and if you look at any religion, there's imperfection throughout it. And if you look at any non-religion, there's perfection or imperfection through it all. And that is humanity. But I think there's room for more tolerance, much more tolerance. And I am striving to be more tolerant in my life, though I fail a lot. I know here in America, we're a Christian nation. Most of the people are Christian. And we're really intolerant of other views and other Christians. And we automatically write off people who are on drugs or have mental health issues as worthless. That's one thing I don't like about David's 411 series, is that he tends to just write off people like that, when I think there's actually a huge section of people that go missing and that are out there because they have problems that we could help as a society through counseling, drug counseling, mental health counseling. There are all sorts of proven treatments that could help these people, and we just ignore them. And it's interesting to live in a nation that calls themselves Christian but don't follow the words of Jesus in the Bible, who spoke so much about that and gave people so much grace. And we don't do that as a society. If you look at any religion, there's imperfection throughout it. And if you look at any non-religion, there's perfection or imperfection through it all. And that is humanity. I'm so glad that Austin's son contacted me through a friend. And I think I left out this detail too. Is the reason he's using a friend is because his foster parents don't really want him to be looking into the issue of his dad at this point. And I don't know what all the situation is there, so I'm not going to judge that. But I'm so glad that you came forward to me, and that's made me ask questions and contact or get in touch again with one of Austin's partners, and a woman who loves him very much and cares about Austin very much and desperately wants to know where he is, the father of her children is right now. But in talking with her or emailing her, I know now that I'm pretty sure that Austin is alive.